That's so awesome. I was talking the whole entire time. My face was blank over there. What is up, ladies? Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate you. We have a masterclass that's coming up super, super soon when it comes to your script, right? And I feel like this is super important, especially if you're a woman. Especially if you're a woman, because as a women, we like to flow, we like to make it feel good, we're creative, like all the great things that come with being a woman. And what helps us as ladies is having some type of structure, some type of understanding of how things are working, a flow, like a situation of how things happen, like the masculine structure to keep us safe, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean men, but like processes, CRMs, like work charts, like that. It gives us the structure to where we can kind of like fill in the lines. And I think that's really important when it comes to your script. Who in here, just so I know what you sell, drop in the chat below, what do you sell, right? B2B, B2C, if it's something specific, drop in the chat just so I can know what you sell. I want to make sure that this is actually relevant to you. Dun, dun, dun. Abundance Queen Life. I love that. Let's go, Abundance Queen Life. So again, dropping in the chat what you sell, insurance. I know we have water systems in here. Anyone else? All right, financial planning, life insurance, investments. All right, what else? Life insurance is big on this issue we're going to talk about today. Big on this issue. I had this experience when I was sold life insurance at one point. Insurance and investments, perfect. So I remember this girl, she met me at this party. It was like some like cocktail, like white tie, event, black tie event, like one of the white parties in Houston, Texas, right? And just real uppity. I remember feeling super uncomfortable because everyone's like wearing designer, everyone's like fully like in, like you were in this group. And I met this girl there, and I can't remember her name for the life of me, but I remember she invited me to her office to talk about like financial planning, insurance, all those things, right? I remember she sat me down and like they ordered me these salads at her like office, and I mean the salad, we're talking about everything. She's talking about like if something happened to my daughter and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. And I can't remember at the time, but I was like running late to another meeting. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. Like, let's touch base Friday. And from there, some reason, I don't hear back from this girl on Friday. Like she's gone. From then on, right, I went to another company, right? I had to look up another company and I went with that service. And then she started hounding my phone, calling me every single day, calling me, leaving me all these voice messages. And I just felt like not followed up with that she cared about me. I felt like she was almost harassing me at that point. Has anybody ever had that where you feel harassed by a salesperson, or you feel bad, or like somebody was selling you something and their follow-up strategy made you feel maybe just a little uncomfortable? Like, anyone ever felt like that? Yeah, with me. We have other B2C affiliate marketing mentorships, all use vehicles, digital marketing. I love it. Y'all are selling all over the place. It's great. And what we have to understand with this is that buyers have changed. Patrick said this just happened to him. Sorry, man. Buyers have changed. I don't know if you realize this, but we are a lot more awakened than our parents' generation. And for those that have kids, I have kids, they're a lot more understanding and woken up than we were, right? Like, the information age is here. The buyers are more informed than they've ever been informed before. They're more educated than they've ever been educated before. They literally can come in and know every single thing about you, your company, your competitors with just one Google search. They know everything. And I'm telling you what, they can identify salesy talk, and they can feel when you're pitching them and when you don't care about them immediately. In fact, like, today's buyer is more skeptical than ever. And it's because most of us have had bad experiences, like what I was just talking about, having somebody that didn't care about them, that was trying to pitch their product or service on us, telling us that they had the best thing, the best whatever, and they weren't listening to us. What if your script, right, was making somebody feel this way, making somebody feel like you didn't care about them, that you don't even sound like yourself, like I see this all the time. Who here has a script that they use, their company has given to them that doesn't sound like them? Sounds very out of alignment. Maybe it sounds a little skeptical, or it sounds a little pushy, sounds a little gross, sounds a little different. And the thing is that I see so many women using scripts like this that their company gave them that are supposed to be helping them close deals. And in fact, they're doing quite the opposite. They're making you feel like you suck at sales, right? They're making the person and the buyer, right, feel like you don't care about them, or that you're just going through your script, that you're trying to sell them, right? So they give you with things like, hey, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my spouse, or I need to get out of here. Like, it doesn't feel like a genuine conversation. And you're confused because you did every single thing that they told you to do. And for some reason, you are still not closing deals. The problem with traditional sales scripts, all these traditional sales scripts that were made by the sales gurus came from 1970, 1980 boiler room sales tactics that use pressurized techniques in order for somebody to feel backed into a corner where they have to make a decision. Have you ever heard of like, hey, you need to stay there until they close the deal? Like, don't let them leave. Don't let them go. Like, stay there, stay on them, and hold them and make them, or oh my God, the worst thing I've ever heard is this analogy, like pressure turns into diamonds. This is a horrific analogy when it comes to a sales conversation. Pressure does not turn into diamonds here. Pressure turns into no sales or people that give you refunds. See, the scripts that I'm talking about, these old style scripts, they're not adapted to the new aged buyer. They're not adapted to how people think now. They're adapted to old ways of thinking. And this can be a problem because this generation has, and people, newly informed people, right? They think differently than in 1980. So wouldn't it make sense that maybe the scripts that were built with the same methodologies that were built then, that were built back then, don't work right now? Like, wouldn't that make sense, right? What would it look like, if you're doing this over and over and all of a sudden you're triggering serious sales resistance by using these tactics, creating all these high pressure sales that don't feel good for you, don't feel good for the person? What's going to happen to you? So we know if you're using all these old tactics that are building up all this sales pressure for the client, for you, like, what is going to happen to you? You're either going to not want to keep doing sales, right? Or because it feels out of alignment for you, or you're going to resent doing what you're supposed to be doing, or the person's going to feel really, really bad, or they're going to refund, or they're going to say that they want to do this, or they felt like you pressured them into it. People start avoiding you. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to talk about the power of like authentic communication. Like, what would it look like for you to be totally transparent, totally in your authenticity, having a genuine conversation with somebody because you knew how to use the right questions in order for their brain to think a certain way, right? NEPQ, right? Using neuro-emotional persuasion questioning, right? And when we came in to 7th level and Jeremy Weiner and I sat down and we went through all of NEPQ, we started adding different words and different perceptions when it comes to a woman selling. Because what works for a guy selling maybe not necessarily work for a girl. Guys can use like so much like comedy and humor in sales that may not work as well for us, especially if we're selling to women. If we're selling to men, using humor and stuff works a little bit easier. When we're selling to girls, like that stuff doesn't work, right? Or so what can we do here in order for us to have a system, a process that's going to work every single time, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're selling, no matter what you're doing? I think that there is an importance of authenticity in a sales process. Does this feel good for me? What I'm selling, does this feel in alignment? And if we can have general interactions that break down the barriers that people put up in a sales conversation, you're automatically going to start building that trust with skeptical buyers. If you do not have that skill, people are going to have their walls up all the time. So what does it look like if you come in to a sales conversation and you know how to disarm the buyer? You know how to disarm this person in order for them to feel like you're not just another salesperson that's trying to come sell them your product or service, but that you are on the same team with them and y'all are going to the finish line together. And if you could possibly help, like you would. if you could. Maybe you can't. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by using connecting questions, by coming with a sense of genuine uh, genuality. Is that a good word? I don't know. Being genuine, being real, being raw, being authentic, right? You don't have to go through this like script that doesn't work. If you understand how to ask the right questions at the right time, like you'll be fine. And that's what we're going to go through on this masterclass. Masterclass is on June 1st. I'm going to go through a generic script, right? A script that was able to help me when I first started in sales. I really sucked, right? And I was able to go from, making $5,000 a month up to making $35,000 a month, right? In commissions. So completely changed my life and my kids' life, right? And I needed a structure to follow. Before I was winging it, or I was using all these random tactics that I learned at these random sales workshops that I paid for $10,000 a boot camp teaching me sales tactics that don't work. Don't work. And when I started understanding the science behind the brain and what's happening in these, I started understanding if I could ask the questions in a way that felt feminine, felt motherly, that felt good, the person would start responding in a way that was favorable to the outcome of that I wanted. I wanted them to end up closing this deal with me. And so the certain questions I would ask would either move me closer to that or would lead us to a random rabbit trail where they're talking about nonsense and not even getting close to understanding where we're going. So I need to be able to make sure that I'm asking these specific questions at the right time, and especially with the right tone, if I'm really craving, I'm really wanting to understand how I can get this person into a buying state. And the only way that I can do that is by creating tension in their body. Not pressure, but tension in their body. I want them to really feel the depths of what it was like to feel the pain that they're feeling. And then I want them to feel the solution that they're wanting, right? One way feeling pain, one way feeling the solution that they're wanting. This is all through my questioning, right? All through my questioning, and then understanding the consequences of what's going to happen if they don't. With all this winding up tension in their body, it has to be released. Not pressure, but tension in their body, because I want them to want to change today. Not a week from now, not 10 weeks from now, but I want them to change right now, today, like we are going to do it. Hey, Kayla, will these sales tactics work when selling one-to-many, webinar selling, social media, no sales calls, relatively high ticket? Yeah, absolutely. And I would be, so when you're selling high ticket, to me, that means $5,000 or more. Okay. So if that's the case, right, you need data. Data is like my favorite thing in the world. I love data. So what's working here? Because if your audience is super organic, right, people are going to be more trusting in order to swipe their card for more than $5,000. Now, if they're not, then maybe possibly they would want to get on a call with you. But yes, sales is sales is sales. It's taking people through the same process and having them understand what's coming up for them. And when it comes to webinar selling, it's just by putting people in emotional states. Like that's what selling is. I hope that answers your question. But if you want to close, $25,000 like tabs, right? Like $25,000 high ticket events or programs, sometimes you're going to have a longer conversation versus just making a decision, depending on it. Or if there is like 3 people that bought super high ticket, how many people were on that webinar that didn't pay? Right? That you could call and have a conversation with them and close them, like the after money, right? I did event sales for many years. Yeah, 5,000, right? So it just depends, right? So 5,000, how many people were on that webinar? Because for me, like I want to close it all down. So if there's a way for us to call and you have a sales rep that can call the people that didn't buy, find out why they didn't buy, and then like sell them into a lower end product or sell them into the product there, you're going to lose sales on the table if you're not calling those people. Again, I was in event sales for many years, and I did back at the room sales as well as online events, challenges like masterminds. We did, events that were super small, 100 people in them, and events that we did, thousands of people in them, like David Daniels, Gary Vaynerchuk, Patrick Bet-David, like lots of events. So always be calling the people that didn't buy. Let's go back into this though, because I only have a few more minutes. Okay, so we want to make sure we are adapting our sales scripts into becoming more approachable and more attractive to newer and current buyers. So I want to make sure that we are suiting these to today's buyer, right? And focusing the sales conversation, like focusing the sales conversation to really understanding the questions that you're asking. So in an APQ, which I'm going to go through all of this inside the masterclass, is going to be great. First, you're asking connecting questions, and then you're asking situation questions. What about their situation right now is leading them to where they would want the outcome that you're providing? And then from there, when I understand that, I want to ask problem awareness questions, right? I want them to realize that they have a problem that they didn't already know they had. And the reason why I'm doing it this way and using this system is that I can take this script, and when I understand how to do this, I can use it in any industry. Doesn't matter if I'm B2B, B2C, insurance, solar, logistics. When I can understand how someone's mind works, I can do it like this. And the thing is that when you're creating this script and you're not doing it based off of science, and you're just doing a random script from people that told you, 20 years ago, or the company came up, oh, these are good questions. All it does is it puts up massive levels of sales resistance in people's bodies. It makes them feel like, oh God, you're selling to me. When you understand how to use an APQ, when you understand how to use neuro-emotional persuasion questioning, it doesn't feel like that, which is the most important thing. We don't want it to feel like you're a sleazy salesperson. We don't want them to feel like you're a sleazy salesperson. We want everyone to feel like we are like, somebody told me, I can't remember what her name was. I was on a sales conversation with this lady. She's talked about sales butter. It should feel like sales butter. I forgot her name for the life of me, but so good. We wanted to feel like that. We wanted to feel like a genuine conversation. We're on the same team. We are helping each other. We're moving forward at the same goal. And I promise you, when you do that, when you can understand the structure of how this works, and you have a script that actually works with human behavior, like, you won't have to worry about what to say. Have you ever had that? Somebody says something in a sales conversation, you're like, oh God, what do I say next? That won't happen for you, because you know where you are at all times in the script. If they go off the road, you know how to bring them back automatically. But if you are wanting to register for the Fix Your Sales script, right, where we're going to spend 90 minutes together, June 1st, I believe it's at 1 p.m. PST. We're going to go through a generic script, and you can apply this to your industry. We also are going to be doing sales audits. If you want to send us your script, we'll be going through that as well. So it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. So this is also, if you are not in my Facebook group, Women in Sales, this whole thing has been recorded today. I think also in my subscribers on Instagram, I think I have like 9 or 10 hours of sales training in there. If anyone wants to tap into that, that's in there as well. So all you have to do is just DM me, Fix Your Sales script, or comment on, if you're on my Facebook, Fix Your Sales script, and we will give you access so that you can register for that masterclass. There will be a rate of play that is available for you. Look, like, if the script that you are getting right now is making people feel uncomfortable in a sales conversation, and you can tell based off of their body language, their eyes, what they're doing, like, you can always tell that's happening, then you should be like, hey, like, I should make some changes here. I should do something here. If it feels out of alignment for you, you should be doing something here. It's not hard. Sales is sales is sales. If you learn this skill, it will completely change your life. Completely change your life. I'm taking my kid for her 11th birthday to Disneyland in a couple weeks, right? And we're just going full time, all the princess dinners and all the stuff. Like, we're just going. And, several years ago, I would never be able to do anything like that. Like, it would literally change your life financially and make you feel so good if you're learning how to do it in a way that feels authentic to you. So we will do Fix Your Sales script. Please comment that below or DM me, Fix My Sales script. It's going to be for ladies only, Roy. I'm sorry. Appreciate you though. But the guys are going to do a sales script. I think they did a challenge. They're doing another challenge in July. So that's 7th level side. So any guys, 7th level, Jeremy Minor, girls, ladies, happy to help you as much as I possibly can. And Marina, DM me that, because it's on this live. So DM me that. I'll make sure that my team can help you get register link for that. But I appreciate you guys. I hope that y'all have an amazing afternoon. I hope this was relevant and helpful. I will see you guys soon. I think my messenger link, someone just commented that. Yeah, just DM me. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye, ladies.